Hey guys, welcome to Most Craved. I'm Jenna Busch with Legion of Leia.
I'm Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
And I am sitting on the wrong couch because Bibbs couldn't be with us today. But we are going to start off with some news that I'm really excited about. New Star Trek series.
I am also extremely excited. I am a big Star Trek fan.
You and I have had long discussions about Star Trek. I know I'm sort of known as a Star Wars fan, but I'm a huge Trekker as well. I have to say, I'm not as much into the movies. The series are the things that get me. All of them, including Enterprise, by the way. Did you like Enterprise?
I have mixed feelings on Enterprise. I didn't really like it when it was on. I have since gone back. I've actually been rewatching it really recently.
Really?
And it has the first 2 seasons that are just normal seasons.
Yeah.
And the 3rd season, it tries to sort of mimic Deep Space Nine and the war arc. And I didn't really like that. And then the 4th season is like the fanboy season where it's like all sorts of extreme stuff. And that is a mixture of like really fun and then also like, but I don't need to know why Klingons look differently.
That's true. That is true. But I'm really excited for it. The only thing that I think people across the board seem to be very excited for it, but I think the way they're putting it out is causing some consternation, my SAT word for the day. It's going to be streaming, likely a paid service and only available in America, from what I've heard.
I have mixed feelings on that. I have the big like collector in me where it's like, well, I'm going to buy the Blu-rays anyway when they come out, if Blu-rays even exist by then. But it's not too much to ask for like a feed for access to all Star Trek. I was actually just going through this with Stars. I don't have a TV that actually plays TV, and I sort of buy everything piecemeal through Google Play or whatever. And Stars doesn't do that.
Right.
And $10 a month is worth it for like new Evil Dead, like.
Oh yeah, or for Black Sails, or because I feel that way too. The problem for me isn't necessarily paying for it because I'd pay to go see a movie, and it's Star Trek. I want to watch it. But I think it's the only being available in certain areas. That's the thing that's really pissing people off. It's funny, we talked about this before the show, I spent some time this weekend with William Shatner and Walter Koenig doing panels with them and hearing them, particularly Walter, talking about what the show means and how it imagines a better future where we're all striving for something better and not just enjoying the lowest common denominator. I don't know, I think that's why I love it so much, and I think it's a weird thing to say, but only you people can watch it.
I think it remains to be seen exactly how it's going to occur.
Exactly, yeah.
I hope it's not a limited thing that only certain. That would be terrible.
It would. Everyone should watch Star Trek.
I'm just happy it's happening.
Me too.
And I'm really curious to see what sort of route they go. I think I've said on the show many times I hate Star Trek Into Darkness.
Everyone,
but
well, I don't.
I don't mind Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orci doing the show at all. I think that. Bob Orci in particular has said many times how big a fan he is, and he does the IDW Star Trek comics right now.
Right.
He's sort of like the producer of those, and oversees them, and they're fun.
Yeah, I love them.
And what's more, there was even a crossover with Q and the new Star Trek where they sort of said flat out the new Star Trek's a pocket universe. Other Star Trek universe exists and is continuing.
I love Q. I love Q episodes are my favorite episodes. Well, not my only favorites, but I really love that. Next Generation's my thing. I love all of them. That's my favorite. But yeah, so I can't wait to see how they're going to handle what timeline, if it's going to be on a space station or in a ship, or I'd love to hear what you guys want to see too. So next thing we wanted to talk about was Spectre, which you've seen and I haven't yet.
I had such mixed feelings in Spectre as just a James Bond movie. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It has everything I wanted. It has a constant sense of like, I wanted a little more though. There's, I don't want to get too spoilery, but there's a cool villain base, and it's there for just a couple minutes and then it's gone. And it's like, no, I want to see that base in detail. There's some weird things in it that I wasn't a huge fan of, and yet Sam Mendes has this sort of like touch to it where it has some commentary on Bond as a franchise that has existed for a really long time. There's actually a fascinating moment. We're gonna have interviews going up and coming soon this week, but there's a line in the movie, and I did a set visit earlier this year, and we actually ran an interview with Leia Seydoux where she said this. Christoph Waltz has a line where he tells Lea Seydoux, "I came to your house to see your father," and she said that's a reference to *Inglourious Bastards*.
Oh,
And it's awesome, and it's
wow.
this weird, like,
cool.
is he sort of this like evil that transcends like space and time, and just
I
has
like
always
that.
been? And she doesn't even in the movie is like, I don't remember that. So I asked her about it again at the interviews, and she's like, "Oh yes, you caught that in *Inglourious Bastards*. It's a reference." I asked Christoph Waltz about it, and he's like, "Nope, categorically no. It has nothing to." And I kind of liked it a lot as a reference. I don't know what the intention of it is now.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's funny because they opened it in the UK first. There were people speculating that they figured they'd get better reviews there. I love Bond movies. I'm excited to see it. I only missed it because I had a con this weekend, and I'm really excited for it. Even with the so-so reviews, just because I love watching Bond movies. And Daniel Craig's been doing some kind of interesting interviews about it, where he hasn't really sounded super positive, and he talks about James Bond as a misogynist, which is true, by the way, but I still love him. And I actually did want to mention that because it's I think it doesn't, like, I might not want to hang out with somebody in real life, but I love watching them on the screen. So I wouldn't want to like date the guy, but I love James Bond.
James Bond?
Yeah. No, I would not want to date. No, who would want to date James Bond? You have sex with James Bond. You don't date him. But like, I love Loki too, but if Loki were a real person, like he'd suck. So I just wanted to mention that. How was Monica Bellucci?
She's
love
good.
her.
She's in it for about 30 seconds.
Oh, that
And you can
sucks.
watch pretty much all of her scene online because it's
Oh.
been released.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of leaving you wanting more from the movie. I will say Dave Bautista steals the movie. His Mr. Hinks is so good, and I just love it. I remember interviewing him for Men with the Iron Fists, and him just being the nicest,
He's so nice.
friendliest guy. And since then, to see him just his career take off has been really cool.
Oh, that's so cool. I love him. That makes me happy. All right, one more topic. Gender bending. Yeah. Yeah, you want to take this first?
Well, we're seeing a lot of it. We're seeing, I mean, Ghostbusters is a big example, but we just heard this week that there is I forget what show it is now, female-driven
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
Yeah.
And not that long ago, we heard that the
Ocean's 11?
Ocean's 11 with Sandra Bullock. We have Gwenpool right now
Yep.
in Marvel. It's something that has happened, I mean, going way, way back. It's sort of like a famous science fiction conceit of there's an infinite number of universes there. There's the exact same thing, but with the swapped gender.
Yeah.
I think it's super neat.
I think it is too. Yeah, I mean, I know there's been some backlash with the Ghostbusters thing. I think it's really cool. I mean, I think with this sort of thing, it's like a case-by-case basis. The one thing I don't want to see is like the surprise, it's a lady, like as though like that's the twist, because that sort of makes it, I don't know, that feels a little off. I love the idea of this. I love the idea of, I don't think it's really considered gender bending if it's a female-fronted Ocean's 11 movie. It's just another chapter and someone else is being focused on. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Van Helsing, I was so burned by that movie. I still can't get that out of my head. I mean, I'm sure it'll be cool. Yay that it's a lady, but oh God, I can't unsee any
I feel
of
like
that.
in the case of that, it makes a lot of sense just
does.
because it's this family that's going to continue. There's going to be women in the Van Helsing family.
Imagine that, women in the world. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I just weirdly posted Star Wars character posters and got another lovely group of terrible comments about the fact that it's a female lead. But you know, I think for the most part, people don't seem to have that much of a problem with
It's an
it.
odd thing. I don't get it. I
know.
don't get why. Like, I feel like you know like I'm half woman on my mom's side.
Yeah.
Like.
Silas, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
And yeah, it's true. Everyone is. Like, I don't understand where it begins to upset people. I kind of get the idea of something like Ghostbusters, where it's like, you know, I would have preferred the continuity of the thing I knew, of the franchise I knew. But if you're not doing that, fine, I'll see how this is.
Yeah.
And like, I'll judge it as a film, not. I think it's weird to react to it the way some people do.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. And it's, you know, it's interesting because even looking at like the Star Wars universe, and we've talked about this before, that in the books, in the new canon books, everything is 50-50. I mean, there are just as many female characters as male characters in all sorts of roles. And it's actually a little bit jarring to see because we're not used to actually seeing our real life that way. It's really weird. But on that note, yay Star Trek, yay James Bond, and yay Ghostbusters.
Yay.
So, Guys, let us know what you think in the comments, and we will see you next week. Follow us on Twitter, Most Craved.